Guys, look, if you are running affiliate marketing campaigns or if you just buy media in general, you're probably making a huge mistake. And I want to explain what I mean by that. Okay. A lot of people, especially in the affiliate marketing space, get so focused on what they get paid per lead or get paid per conversion. And it's because first they have short term thinking, but also it's because they're not seeing the bigger picture. Even if you're an offer owner or someone that's building out an offer or you're an advertiser, you're probably thinking the same thing. Like I made this mistake for a very long time, not seeing the bigger picture and what's really happening when you buy ads on Facebook, YouTube, or Google. Okay. So let's break it down, right? So typically the way something works is you're getting paid, I don't know, like let's say $10 pay per lead. Okay. And it's costing you eight. So you make $2, or the traffic is more expensive like it typically is today in 2025 for a low paying offer like this. So it actually costs you 20. So if you're an affiliate, you don't like that because you lose money. So then what you do is you run crazy ads that get it down to like 7, and then you make $3 per lead. Boom. And then you scale this times like 1,000 or hopefully 10,000, you're happy, right? But usually what happens is your buyer gets pissed because what really matters is what it costs to produce a customer and then against the value of that customer. Okay. So let's say someone is paying a terrible payout of $10 per lead, right? Which is not good generally, depending on the offer. Um, and then the customer is worth, let's say it's like a recurring model, $30 every month, right? There's 12 months. Obviously, I'm not going to do 12 here, but just so we get the visual, okay, every month they're getting a $30 payment. So let's say the LTV, lifetime value, is 30 times 12 equals 360. Okay. The way you have to think about this, the reason why like the ad that occurs or the first hits a customer that causes a conversion is important because let's say they're paying $10 cost per lead, they buy 100 leads, that's $1,000. Let's just say there's no cost after that. Obviously, there's gonna be other fees. There's gonna be call center fees, office fees, agent commissions, all sorts of stuff is gonna be added on. But let's just assume that there's zero cost for some reason. And like our math said, the custom LTV is 360. So they need to get roughly 3 customers to break even, right? So obviously they don't want to pay a $360 CPA, cost per acquisition. They probably, if they're greedy as hell, which a lot of these guys are, they probably want to pay like $100 CPA. But I mean, a realistic CPA in this simple example is probably like 150 to 200. And then after their agent costs, that leaves them with maybe like $100, right? So if I can zoom out, there we go. 150 to 200. But then after an agent cost of let's say 60, that leaves $100. Remember, because we're taking this customer value minus this, $100. $100 on $360. That's like a 25-ish plus or minus percent margin. Not bad. Okay. Definitely a real scalable business. But you have to think about these things when you're running traffic for someone. And also the other factor is too, they're spending that $1,000 maybe today in ads, and then they're collecting within 30 days, maybe like a portion of it or like a down like a initial fee or something. Let's say they get $100, they're in the hole and they got 3 customers, right? Times 3, so that's 300. Okay, so they got 300, they're minus 700 until I don't know what their break even is. Maybe they break even at, I'm not going to do the math on it right now, but let's say they break even at month 6 or month 7. So they have what's called float, right? So they're basically floating and taking risk. And it's something we do too as media buyers, as affiliates, as publishers. But the difference is that they're building a book of float, okay? And they probably have some good financing, or maybe they put up the cash and they're floating it themselves, or they have really low interest rates on whatever capital, or they have an investor. But the problem is, and here's why affiliate marketing can suck. Okay, so if this is that 12-month cycle and they price the lead to be $10 because they're greedy, or maybe it's because what the math supports, and they buy 100 leads, and then it's $1,000 today, right? And then this math here works because they get all their money back here at month 6, as an example. It's probably not accurate, but as an example. And then everything from here is profit for them, right? The problem is when something breaks and you run an ad that doesn't support the consumer actually sticking, right? So like let's say it was super clickbaity or completely false, and they get a good cost per conversion upfront, but the customer falls off. Let's say they need 70% to make it to 6 months to at least break even, but then they get like 30%. They may not actually get their money back, if at all, until month like 10 or 11. So then this is what's actually happening on the back, right? It's the same as with e-commerce. Okay. Let's say you do drop shipping, or no, let's say it's a brand, right? And a lot of offers, not all offers, but some offers, maybe they sell something for 50, their cost of goods is 10, and then their COG price, right? And then their ad spend actually costs 50 to get the customer. They're negative $10. So typically, if this is a cycle of a few months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? Ideally, a good e-commerce brand in the same kind of model is making money here, making money here, making money here, at least maybe making money here. And then depending on like their model, if it's not automatic subscriptions, maybe they get collect something here again, maybe they collect here again, and maybe like a Black Friday thing at the end of the year, right? So then this turns into a $200 LTV, and then that minus 10, well, I mean, you factor in all those other costs and stuff, like you get the idea though. This is going to have some kind of margin in it, right? The bigger picture I'm trying to paint for you here is that affiliate marketing can almost seem like a facade, right? And unfortunately today, a lot of the offers I see, so I started doing affiliate marketing and lead gen a little bit over 3 years ago, almost 4 years, actually, now that I think about it. 2020, yeah, holy crap. And I haven't seen a lot of increases in the payouts, which is kind of nuts because the average cost per click, the average CPA, the average cost per conversion for the advertiser or the affiliate, the publisher, has probably gone up. I mean, it's most definitely gone up, especially since 2021. Traffic costs are up. It's a natural trend of any. I mean, this happened to Google, right? You look at what you were paying on a cost per click basis for a plumber or an attorney in 2006 against 2016 against what's going to be 2026 in a few months. It's just going to have to go up, right? Facebook is no different, or sorry, Meta. Okay, these are all going to go up with time. So the interesting thing is that the payouts that we're as affiliates and publishers, you're basically getting squeezed, right? There's layers of brokering. So there's people taking cuts off the pie that are like deal brokers, which often don't add much value, if I'm just being honest. And then on top of that, you have an incremental increase in traffic costs over time with Meta, if we're talking Meta or really any major ad platform. And then you're not seeing an increase in the payouts. So the interesting thing that's happening is this vicious cycle, like kind of like we talked about, is they're still paying $10 per lead, but they're expecting you to advertise what worked back in 2020 or 2019 on maybe the realistic cost per lead. Oh, it's like my pen died. Nope, there we go. The realistic cost per lead was like $5. So that will leave you with $5 in profit, right? Probably not exactly like this, but you get the idea. And then this supported an LTV. I mean, like their CPA would be probably even better actually. So let's say they're paying $10 a lead, they might have been converting, I don't know, 2 to 3 times as much. So maybe their CPA realistically was $120 as opposed to 360, which I showed in the first example, right? So their CPA was 120, the LTV was similar, $30. I think I messed the math up a little bit here, but we'll just run with these numbers. Yeah, LTV was 360. That's what I was thinking about. Um, and then this, we'll switch back. This was, let's say their CPA came down to like 90. That's a 90, believe it or not. That means that like their margin's pretty fat. Gross margin before the gross profit before they pay out agents and other fees, right? So they're looking at, I don't know, was it like 250, right? But there's a squeeze happening because of the traffic cost, because of the competition, because of the greed of the agent, the ultimately the end buyer not wanting to pay more per lead because it's going to increase their CPA. But because they don't want to do that, it incentivizes bad behavior, it incentivizes affiliates and publishers to run crazy ads where the LTV is like half because like they signed up for the wrong reason, or the consumer wasn't really that interested or that serious, or they bought but then they like canceled shortly thereafter. So then it's creating an actual squeeze pressure on the customer value, and then at the same time, like they're demanding this, these buyers are demanding the same pay per customer, which is unrealistic. So it's just like this vicious cycle, right? Like we saw this with for the Affordable Care Act with ACA, where there was another piece to it as well, right? Where basically customers were getting flipped. So someone would sign up for the health insurance plan, that they would have a estimated pay per lead or pay per call based off of the estimated value of the customer. And then none of that worked. Like that math just fell apart because the same customer was then getting signed up by another insurance agency the next month and then next month and the next month. So the real value, like it was, the numbers were wacky, right? So like let's say they wanted to have $120 CPA or CPA cost per acquisition, right? And they wanted to pay $40 per call. So they wanted to close 1 out of 3, 33%. Okay. And they were assuming with this CPA that the customer, let's say, was worth $360. So that will leave them with pretty darn good margin of 240. And that's minus obviously agent costs and other fees as well. But in reality, this customer was worth, I actually learned how to do something there. This customer was probably worth maybe $60, maybe $90, maybe $30, assuming they're paying $30 a month. They paid 120 for the customer. These guys are upside down. This math does not work, and then everyone loses. And that's basically what we saw happen with the health insurance industry because of, you could say affiliates, but you could also say greedy insurance agencies in South Florida mainly, right? Or in other states. I know of several in other states that were also greedy. But this is what you have to think about, whether it's your offer or you're advertising as affiliate. Like what actually matters is what happens over a longer term. And it's easy to just get focused on this front end acquisition. And actually, the most frustrating thing I find from operating the affiliate space is that the people you sell traffic to that pay you for the lead, for the customer, whatever it may be, they are often very short-sighted in their thinking. They're thinking about how do I make the most and how do I pay the least, not what's the lifetime value of this customer, what do we do what's how do we do what's best for the business owner, for the consumer as well, right? Because they're the one that is signing up for something. And then how do we do right by the people that are helping us get customers? But often it's just like, it's just very greed driven. And this is just a reality. But I mean, you saw how this also works with e-commerce. If you don't think about things in the same way, you're going to lose. Like all the money is made back here. There's money here too, right? Don't get me wrong. There can be good margin here, but I only find there's disproportional margin when it's a brand new offer to a brand new market that's never been seen before, right? That is the only time, and those are not very common. So in most case scenarios, you're maybe making some margin, maybe you're breaking, maybe you're even losing here. You see this a lot with like health supplements, but then all the good stuff comes here, and that's where the real money is. And there's also like you could exit if you structure things correctly, but also you could just like live off of what's being produced from the lifetime value of the customer. So next time you run an affiliate campaign or even build an offer of your own, just think about this. This is where everything should start from, because without a back end that's built properly, like this is why a lot of affiliate campaigns don't work, and then people are like begging for traffic, but they don't think they can pay for it. So hope that helps. That is my 2-minute lesson on affiliate marketing. But also, ultimately what matters is the lifetime value of the customer in combination with the AOV, the CPA, and then everything else around that. Okay. See you guys in the next video.